In this session, we will look into how do we read the data from the folders into the Power BI. Okay. See, when I talk about a folder will be a collection of files. So which will have multiple files and we can read the complete all the files as one data source into your Power BI. So for this example, I have just taken a global sales data where I just have the sales from 5 different countries. So we have the sales of India, USA, Germany, France, and Brazil. Now I want all this particular data to be read as one data source into my Power BI. And not only that, tomorrow a new country's data is being added. I want my what is say Power BI report to automatically fetch the data from that particular new file also. Okay. So let me see how do we do it. So just before that, so this is the data what I have in every file. I just have some order IDs. So when the order was placed, which countries the order is. So we have the sales for different categories, and I just taken some random sales value. And all the 5 files you can see, I just have a similar structured data. But only thing the country names are different, the order numbers are different, and okay, with the different what is sales value and so on. Now what I want is I just want to read the data from this particular folder into your Power BI. So let me do this. So let me start off my Power BI desktop. So now since you want to read the data from the folder, so what we'll do, we'll select the file type as folder. So how do we do that? So let me just start off with the report. So I'll just go to the get data here. So since I want to read the data from the folder, I'll just go to this particular get data option. Yeah, I'll just get into the get data. So here we don't have the option of folders. I'll just go to the more. When you hit on this particular more, here you can see we have this option here called as folder. Okay, so I'll just select this particular folder and I'll just say connect. So as soon as I select the folder and click on connect, so it'll ask me for the path. Okay, from where you want to read the data. That is, I need to give the path of the folder. So you can browse and select the path, or I can just copy this path. So this is the location. I'll just say copy this and I'll just go here and I'll just paste the path. Okay, so this is a folder which is present in this location and I want to read all the files present in this particular folder. I'll just say okay. Now as soon as you say okay, so you can see it says okay, this particular folder has 5 different files. Okay, this is the various file names. The content is stored in the form of binary format and we have the various metadata information about this particular folder. Okay, the files of those particular folders. Now, since I want to read the data from multiple files, okay, which is present in the folder, and I have to merge all this thing. So what I will do is that means I need some kind of a transformation. So what will I do here? I'll just go to the transform data because I have to combine the data of this particular 5 files and then I have to create a report. I'll just click on the transform data. When I click on the transform data, as we know, this will open my Power Query editor. So in the Power Query editor, so same data is being transferred where you can see the content of the file is in the binary format. This is the name of the file. So it is all are my XLS file. So it is fine. And what is that extension .xlsx? So it has the other metadata information as when it was being created, okay, modified, the file path and so on. So for me, right now what I need is I just need the content, okay, and the name of the file. Okay, the rest of the files I don't want it. So what I will do here, I'll try to retain this columns and remove the other columns. How do we remove that? So right click on select this content and the name using the shift key or the control key from the keyboard and right click and say remove the other columns. Means we need only the content and the name, other columns has to be removed. I've just removed it. Okay, so now after removing this, what will I do is I'll just write a small formula to create a new custom column where I can read all this particular content, the workbook data. So for that, I will just go to this particular add column tab. Okay, I'll just go to the add column tab. There we have create a custom column. So I've just gone to the add column, create custom column. This will just create a new custom column. So the name of the column is custom. If you want, you can rename this. So now what I'll do, I'll just directly start writing the formula. So here the formula is, I have to write a small formula here as Excel dot workbook. Okay, so E is caps, W is caps. Okay, so take the help of the IntelliSense to write this. So I'm using Excel.workbook. In the workbook, so I have to read the data from this particular content. So I just want to extract this particular data using this function. So what I do, you can see here we have these two field names, the content and the name. What we have, the same thing is there. So first, I just want only the content. I just selected the content, close the bracket. So formula is correct. Sure. I'll just say it as okay. Yeah. So you can see here a new column has been created. So telling that, okay, you are reading the data from this particular tables. And in this custom column, you can see here we have a two-headed arrows here. So that means to get the detailed information. So you want to bring that particular detailed information. So what will I do? I just click on this two-headed arrow. And we can see, okay, this is the data, what this is various information about that particular files is bringing. I'll just say it as okay. Okay, so again it has expanded where it says the different data, the tables, what is there. Okay, all the information has been brought in. Now what I will do here is from this particular data, again I just need only the name. I want the custom dot item. So that is I want the name. Hold down the control key and select the custom dot item and the data. So I just want only these three columns. Rest of the columns I don't want it. Okay. So rest of the columns I don't want. So what will I do? I'll just right click on this. I say remove the other columns. So here you can see the name of the files, the type of custom item, and we have a custom dot data. Okay. Now this particular custom dot data has this particular two-headed arrow again. So I'll just hit on this particular arrow and you can see, okay, in my Excel file, I just have many columns. It is reading all the columns. Okay. And here, you can also see here, it says use original column name as prefix. So the column names will be given as custom dot column 1, custom dot column 2, custom dot column 3. So what we can do is, okay, you can just skip this particular things, uncheck this. I'll just say, okay, you'll get a direct column name, okay, unqualified column names. So I'll just say it as okay. Okay, as soon as you say okay, so you can see here, so this is the data which has been read from this particular Brazil file. This is the data from the France file. This is the data from Germany. This is the data of India file, and this is the data of USA. We have got all the files data. So each file has around 15 records, and the 5 files, all the 75 records is been brought in. But you can see here, it has even read the headers also. Okay, so now what we can do is we can perform a bit of transformation. So I don't want this columns, name and the custom name. I'll remove this, right click, remove columns, selected columns. So it is removed. The next thing is what I need. I don't want this column 1, column 2, column 3 as a header, whereas I want order ID name, this has to be as shifted as a header. So what will I do? I will just make this as promote as header. So use the first row as the header. The first row becomes a header column. Okay. The first row has become as a header column. So next thing what I want is this header is there for every table's data. So I'll just try to hide this one. So what I can do, I can just select this. So search for that order ID and just uncheck this. So it'll remove those particular order ID. I'm filtering it out. Okay. So now I just want only the data. So you can see we have the data from all the files. Okay. And all the data is there. So now what I do once it has been done, so I'll just say close and apply. So this will just take me to the Power View. That is like where I can create the visuals. Now we'll try to see, okay, whether, okay, you can see here 75 rows of data has been imported. So now let me just do for our understanding, I'll just take a matrix where I will just try to read the data into the rows. I'll try to get all the countries data. This will take me all the countries, what is there, and I'll just take the values as sales. Okay, and when you just see here, so we have got the data from all the 5 different countries, and I want to see the sales for different categories. Yes, you can go for it, and we are able to get this particular data. The column I just want, category code. So we just have this data. Okay. So now what I will do here is, so let me just add another file. So let us take an example. I just have another sales data of China. So I'll just try to copy this. I'll just paste it. I'll just say rename this one. So where I would like to say this is the sales of China. Okay. So let me change the content here. Instead of USA, I'll just say it as China. Okay. So let me give this as, I've given some series there. So I can just say fine. I just have this data. I don't have to do anything. I just have added a new file with another 15 rows of data here. So before we see that, we had 75 rows of data and the total value is this much, 10 lakhs 900. Okay, we just have only the 5 countries. Now I'll just do a refresh here. That's it. I'll just go to the home tab. In the home tab, I just have a refresh. So when I just say refresh, you can see, okay, a new country has added as China, and you can see we got this particular data also. And our total is been updated. So everything has been updated. Okay, so now it is actually reading the data from 6 files. So before we had 75 rows. So when I just go to the transform data, so you can see here, so now the number of rows will be increased. And where is that refresh? Yeah. So you can see now it shows 90 rows of data, and you can also see that we have the data of China also. Okay, so the advantage here is, okay, tomorrow a new country sales data comes in, you don't have to recreate the report. Once you have created a report based on the folder, later you can keep on adding the files. Your report will be automatically generated for all the files what is there. Okay, this is how we try to read the data based on the folders. Okay, thank you for this.